The Supreme Court will consider a case involving federal funding of pro-abortion groups in the United States. The justices said today that they will review the Trump administration's Protect Life rule. It bans federally funded health care providers in the Title X family planning program from referring patients for abortions. Planned Parenthood withdrew from the program rather than complying with the rule, forfeiting an estimated $60 million. Joining us now is Carrie Severino, president of the Judicial Crisis Network. Carrie, welcome back. Great to speak with you. I want to talk about Merrick Garland's confirmation hearings in just a moment. But first, I want to get your thoughts on the Supreme Court's announcement regarding the Trump administration's Protect Life rule.
Well, it's no surprise. It was a major rule that the Ninth Circuit did uphold. So it's not surprising that the Supreme Court would then also weigh in. The actual legal question isn't really one of the wisdom of making sure that funding that's not supposed to go for abortions is separated. There's kind of a firewall there, which is what that rule is about, from funding that does from groups that do perform abortions. The legal question is actually about the administrative law procedures that were followed in making that rule. So that's really what the court's going to be looking at as they review it.
And I want to go back now to Merrick Garland. What should our viewers know about him, especially when it comes to where he stands on the fight for the unborn?
Sure. So Merrick Garland is a longtime D.C. Circuit judge, and he's, as many people know, he was nominated for Justice Scalia's seat on the Supreme Court, did not get that position. However, Biden, now by nominating him for the Attorney General's seat, frees up a seat on the D.C. Circuit for him to fill as well. Garland does seem to be someone who already has some bipartisan support. My biggest concern about him, though, is that while he presents himself as a moderate candidate, and that's certainly how he attempted to come across in today's confirmation hearings. Some of the people nominated underneath him, for example, Vanita Gupta, who would be his associate attorney general, are true radicals. And there's a lot of concerns that the dark money forces that help put Biden in office are then asking for more radical appointees at these levels. So you might have Garland, who has a very calm, moderate demeanor at the top of the Department of Justice, but the people underneath him have espoused very radical views. Gupta, for example, has endorsed defunding the police or removing and diminishing criminal penalties for people, including white supremacists and terrorists. And well, Garland was pressed a little bit today. Senator Lee, Senator Cotton had some good questioning, pressing him on, does he support some of those policies? He really was very difficult to pin down. He said he distanced himself from some of the extremist language that Gupta had used while still endorsing her as a candidate. And I think it's going to be really challenging for the Biden administration to toe that line when they have these radicals coming from liberal dark money groups in these high positions within the Department of Justice.
And Carrie, I know in the National Review late last week, you listed 10 questions that you hope senators would actually ask Judge Garland. Did they ask any of those questions?
Yeah, as I said, it was very encouraging to see some of them bring up some of those key points. As I said, like saying, well, how do you really feel about diminishing these sentences for white supremacists and terrorists? Senator Cotton went to that point. And as I said, Senator Lee also discussed, Senator Hawley discussed some of the outrageous positions that Gupta has put. It's challenging, though, because I think Garland wants to try to make this the Biden administration, much like Biden himself did during the election, wants to say, well, this is going to be a time for healing. This is a time for reaching across the aisle. But what we're seeing now that the staffing of the administration is in place is that personnel really is policy. And you can say that you want to be reaching across the aisle, but what we've seen with most of the staffing, really from the chief of staff on down, is that there are many people who are coming straight out of these left-wing advocacy groups and actually represent some of the more extreme wings of the party, not the moderate wing that I think is what really brought Joe Biden to the White House. So it's going to be a real challenge to see, is Garland willing and able to push back on some of those radical voices that are going to be in the Department of Justice? And is President Biden willing to push back on those voices as well? So far, it's very concerning, some of the people he's chosen to be in his cabinet and to lead some of these agencies.
Well, Carrie, we have to leave it right there. I wish we had more time, so much more we could talk about, but we thank you for your time today. Carrie Severino, president of the Judicial Crisis Network. Thanks again.
Thanks.